Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door, "only this, and nothing more." Distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books a crease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore. For the rare and radiant maiden whom angels name Lenore, nameless here, forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entering entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entering entrance of my chamber door, this, and nothing more." Presently my stroll grew stronger, hesitating them no longer. "Sir," and I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened the wide door. Darkness. There, and nothing more." Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming, dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before, and now the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word were spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore." This I whispered, and I echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," I said, "surely this is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, this mystery to explore. Let my heart be still a moment and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when many with a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven with the saintly days of yore. Not the least obseance made he, not a minute stopped nor stayed he, but with mine lord or lady perched above the chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance that it wore, "Though my crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from thy nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore, for we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet be blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon sculpted bust above the chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on its placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour, and nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely mourned than muttered, "Other friends have flown before, on the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." And then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken by a reply so aptly spoken, "Doubtless," I said, "what if it utters is only stock and store, caught by some unhappy master, whom upon unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs what burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of nevermore." But the raven, still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled and cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking that what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim ungainly ghastly gaunt and ominous bird of yore, meant in croaking, "Nevermore." This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fire eyes now borne into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining, on the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet lining with the lamplight gloated o'er shall she press? Nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled with the tufted floor. "Wretch," I cried, "thy God hath lent thee, by thy angels he hath sent thee, respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff this kind of nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Prophet," I said, "thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempter sent, or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, in this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, Is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God that we both adore, tell this soul of sorrow laden within the distant Aden, it shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Be that word or sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstanding, get thee back to the tempest from thy night's Plutonian shore, leave no black plume on this token, as thy lie thou shalt have spoken, leave me loneliness unbroken, quit to the bust above my door, take thy beak from thy heart, and take thy form from thy off my door, quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all but seeming of a demon that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him stealing throws a shadow on the floor, and my soul from out the shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore.